Greetings, I am Herbert Erpaderp. Would you like to see what's inside this box? Of course you would. Obviously it's going to be a 144th scale plastic model of the Lun class Ekranoplan from Takom. Am I saying that right? Lun? Lun? I have no idea.
That's a surprise!
No, it isn't. Anyway, the box makes what it is kind of obvious, but what the box doesn't show us is what the plastic bits look like. My immediate reaction here is that there are some really big parts in this box, and it's not a small box either. It's 380mm wide, and the model builds up to a full length of 510mm, and that is kind of large. If you use freedom units, you can go and convert that yourself. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these bits while I waffle. The parts in this kit, as you can probably see, all look quite nice and neat. And while the resulting model is going to be quite big, and I'm kind of concerned that it's not actually going to be able to be built in my workspace, for its size, there's not really a lot of parts. The Ekranoplan isn't exactly covered in greeblies and little detail-y bits either, so there's not going to be much exterior detail to add. So a good portion of these parts are quite large. Not that I'm complaining about that, of course. When I said the model isn't covered in greeblies and detail, I didn't mean that it was undetailed either. There's plenty of panel lines and such moulded into these large parts. I think they look quite good, and when it comes time to paint, they should be pretty interesting to weather. I do try to find defects and errors in the kits that I look at and build, and I've not been able to find any by looking at the sprues here, and well, I'm not upset about that. In fact, I'm quite happy about it. This is quite a recent release, so it would be surprising, and also rather annoying, if it wasn't as nice, neat and crisp as it is. There is of course the chance that there might be some problem that only crops up when you try to build the kit, and I will certainly let that be known in the build video if that is in fact the case. I'm not anticipating that it will be the case, but you never know. I also couldn't tell you if there are any errors in the accuracy of this model. I'm clearly no Ekranoplanologist, but from what I can tell so far, it's certainly going to look the part, and even at 144th scale it's going to be enormous. Like I said, the box tells us that this is going to be 510mm long. I can't fathom just how big these things must be in real life. It's a very interesting subject for a model too, in my opinion. Certainly not the usual thing I build. I guess, as the youth are always saying, an unusual kit is just as good as a holiday.
The youth don't say that at all!
Shut up. Okay, so that's all the opaque parts. Let's have a look at the clear bits. They certainly are clear. There's quite a few portholes here, which is nice, though there's not going to be much to look at through them. There is actually a cockpit interior, so those cockpit windows should be a bit more useful, realistic? I don't know what the right word is. You'll be able to see stuff through them. I don't know how much of said cockpit is actually going to be visible, but it probably means that some painting should be done before final assembly if you do want the inside to be visible. Okay, like I said before, there aren't really a whole lot of parts to this, and of course there doesn't need to be. Everything looks quite good, and I'm expecting it should all go together with minimum hassle, and it shouldn't take too long either. About the only problem I think I'm going to have, other than maybe a carpet monster attack or two, is fitting the thing into my workspace and under my cameras. But I'll give it the old college try, as they say. There are also decals in this kit, and these, obviously, go with the 3 paint scheme suggestions that the instructions have for us. They look quite good, and obviously they're very big. Not much to say here really, but they do look very decal. I've seen some decals in my time, I would know. The instruction booklet is quite nice, and I would say that it's on par with other Takom kits that I've built before. It's a fairly large, wide booklet, which is good. I do like booklets, and the fact that it's not super tall should make it a bit less of a hassle to work within my space. But my space is limited, so even the wide instructions could be a bit of a hassle. Not a real problem though. The instructions themselves look like they should be quite easy to understand and follow. Things seem to be broken down into reasonably sized steps that don't have too much going on at once, which is going to help avoid confusion and forgotten parts. Maybe. I can't know for sure if there's a problem or not at this point, having not used the instructions at all yet, and if there is an issue, again I'll make sure to mention it. I'm sure there won't be any problems though. As I mentioned before, there are 3 paint schemes in the painting and marking guide section, which even though it looks kind of fancy is still pretty basic. That's okay though, it does make for a good starting point. There's nothing to say you must paint your Ekranoplan like this. You could paint it in a sparkly pink if you wanted. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, that's what's in the box. It looks like a pretty good kit, and I'm anticipating both a fun and not too difficult build. This will be built live on stream over on my Twitch channel, the link for which can be found in the description. I don't have a particular date set for when I'll be starting on this, but it's going to be somewhat soon. Keep an eye out on Discord and Twitch for notifications. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And if you've not already done so, why not subscribe for free here on YouTube? Or if you've got the means and you want to help a Herbert Erpaderp do Herbert Erpaderp things, as well as seeing my videos a bit early, consider becoming a patron. You can find a link to Patreon and all my other things like Discord and social media in the description below. And as always, I shall return soon. So until then, be excellent to each other, have a fantastic day, and thanks for watching. Farewell.